PSA. Being written up is a concept from kindergarten and doesn't exist in most countries. Seriously, I'm forever reading things like, I was written up for insubordination when I argued with the boss. What? In a real country you are all co-workers and you argue through a problem. To be written up is a childish concept and you are being treated like children by a little dictatorship inside every company. There just is no such concept. And a manager who does it must have a tin pot dictator complex. And the HR people to police it? You actually grew up wanting to do that? Don't be treated like children and don't think you live in the land of the free if you can't debate with the boss and push back on your rights. And don't get me started on the concept of at-will states. FFSU Americans are meant to be the leaders in freedom, but you actually allow yourselves to be heavily oppressed by letting them grip your balls as tight as they want as they control your ability to earn money for food. Change. Rant over. Seriously, vote them out. Got written up at work and made my boss furious when I said, it's just a piece of paper going into a filing cabinet no one cares about but you. They do it to have a paper trail to later justify termination. That is the primary reason. Yeah, I think the freedom part was designed for rich people. Not for everyone. I mean, you are free to find another shitty job, I guess. But that's about it. I once got written up because I had my phone in my hand when I had already said I was going to lunch on my way to the break room. I had just come from the bathroom. I had been in there 4 minutes, but I guess the owner thought I had been hiding in the bathroom with my phone. When she dragged me into the office later that day and was trying to lecture me about it, I cut her off and said, just give me the paper so I can sign it and quit the next week. At that point I had already been interviewing other places. Companies will do whatever they want to justify their actions. I put in for a Friday off for personal reasons 8 months in advance. 3-day weekend came and went without a hitch. No work missed. Nothing. The Monday I returned, a coworker asked what I did on the Friday I took off, and I told them I went to a comic book convention with my spouse. After lunch rolls around, my manager asks to speak with me in the boardroom. Waiting there is the owner, my manager, and my lead. They were writing me up for lying to the company because I said personal time on my time off request instead of comic book convention. I refused to sign it on the basis that my time away did not impact the company and that I could have put any reason on it and it wouldn't have mattered because I used PTO and it was approved. Didn't matter. They had my lead sign it and into my permanent file it went. My dude. Most of us have jobs where we have to ask permission to go take a piss. It's a corporate thing. You get a verbal warning. And then you get a written warning. Once you have those 2 warnings, you're ready to be terminated. It's not about solving a problem. It's about starting a paper trail to cover your ass so when you're fired they can say it's for cuz and then deny your unemployment. Land if the free is also a kindergarten concept. We learned this idea from a song in school. But if we really paid attention in history, we would have realized that a bunch of wealthy white males wanted a tax haven where they could concentrate their power by oppressing everyone else. The Constitution declared no one was allowed to vote or even allowed equal protections under the law. Unless he was a landowner. No renters had rights. And, obviously, was a white male. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was born 12 years after women were granted the right to vote. Whoever gave you the impression that everyone is equal was lying. Do you think the first generation of women to vote were raised as equals? No. The women of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's generation didn't even have the right to inherent property. And they didn't have the right to open a bank account until the 1970s. At 45 years old, I am part of the first generation of U.S. women allowed to open a bank account without my dad or husband's signature. Vote them out? Oh boy. Okay, so here's the situation in the US. There's no actual freedom. The masters, the exploiters, they run everything. There's no democratic way to remove them. Those that seek power are not fit to wield it. They're the only ones that end up in power. The cycle is not escapable through a democratic process. There's no way to legislate our way out of the situation. Write-ups and other childish behavior control the exploited because they're enslaved to wages. The exploited that enforce such childish garbage are bootlicking traders, too weak to face their exploitation. They wish to be one of the exploiters, so they ape the behaviors they see in the hopes that their masters will see what good little slaves they've been, and maybe they'll get unshackled and elevated in status to exploiter. What they don't want to see, what they've always been too weak and afraid to admit, is that the masters don't see any one of us humans. We are not of their class, so we're not worth anything. The exploiters treat all of us as children because it makes it easier for the traders among us to be used to control us. They get to keep their boots on our necks with very little expense because they can get a huge, nearly endless stream of willing help from the masses they exploit. The amount of exploited willing to stand up to this is tiny and shot through with weak traitorous cowards who actively prevent any actual attempts to change this system. Too few of the exploited are actually willing to feel the enormous pain and pay the huge costs associated with fighting against the system. What happens in the US spreads. The US is degenerating towards naked hostility towards the bottom. It's only a matter of time before that enriches the exploiters here enough to draw the attention and envy of the exploiters wherever you are. Sadly, there will be no stopping this because the revolution required to make that happen will be stillborn, crushed before it could take a breath. Welcome to the end. Enjoy the show. Rant over. Seriously, vote them out. We want to. The problem is our choices are the nutcase in the straitjacket from Rammstein's Angst music video, or the option that says vote for us or you get straitjacket nutcase guy. You'll get a kick out of this bullshit job I recently received. We can have coloring books at work. We get report cards. We can get written up, and we can get suspended. America is truly a third world country on the verge of collapse. Seriously, vote them out. What voting do you mean? Does not exist in an employment context. A fake here. One of my jobs. Manager wrote up someone and put them in a PIP, peer improvement program. They were responsible to guide the representative to be better, improve performance, and get back on track. Representative did not get better. Manager did not try to help. Rep was fired. 2 other reps had the same problems, same plan of action, same result, same lack of interest. On the way out, one of the terminated asked the HR director, who guided them back to their desk to collect their belongings, if the manager was supposed to encourage, engage, and assist them as part of the PIP terms HR did not know. Terminated said, in the office within earshot of the manager. This would be an interesting question to ask Department of Labor, as I've been in touch with X and Y after they were terminated. The manager was eventually asked to resign. I don't know what happened after that. I left. Yes. Workers are treated like children in the US. People were brainwashed into being against their own interests since the 70s and 80s. They were brainwashed into hating unions and thinking that working 60+ hours a week and little to no vacation, sick leave makes them better than the socialist, wimpy Europeans. Face with rolling eyes, face with rolling eyes, face with rolling eyes. One take I disagree with. Being written up isn't intended to be a punishment for you. It's to create a record of you not doing your job correctly to cover the company's ass if they fire you. Most Americans have become extremely infantilized. Google the U.S. Electoral College. Then, weep. Vote who out? HR? I think documenting someone's lack of performance is common in a lot of countries. The better the labor laws in a country, the harder it is to fire them. So you need more documentation to do it safely. Where are you living that there's no such thing as employee evaluations and no one is ever fired? Write-ups lol. Yeah, write me up. Sign this write-up. No, then write in what really happened and sign and date next to it. Shoot a digital image and be done. Fuck off with your silliness.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.